From 1910 to 1945, Japan illegally colonized Korea, usurping its sovereignty and forcibly mobilizing approximately 800,000 Koreans to Japan. In 1945, the United States dropped A-bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. As a result, approximately 70,000 to 100,000 Koreans were exposed to radiation and about 50,000 of them died. Many of the victims were conscripted laborers who had been forcibly mobilized by the Japanese Empire. Without receiving proper medical treatment, Korean A-bomb survivors were forced to return to their homeland early under the US-led General Headquarters GHQ's repatriation policy of Koreans from Japan. However, they faced neglect from the South Korean government, social coldness, and poverty. Korean A-bomb victims are those who have borne the cross of the nuclear age, enduring the triple suffering of Japan's forced mobilization, the US atomic bombings, and neglect by the South Korean government. Following the conclusion of the Treaty on Basic Relations between Japan and the Republic of Korea in 1965, survivors established the Korea Atomic Bomb Victim Association in 1967 and began to speak out. On November 4, 1967, approximately 20 Korean victims protested in front of the Japanese embassy, holding a banner that read, "Demand reparation for my body." On August 6, 1971, approximately 10 Korean victims protested in front of the U.S. Embassy in Seoul, shouting, "The U.S. government should provide reparations to Korean A-bomb victims." On June 11, 1990, Lee Meng-hee, an A-bomb victim, attempted suicide by ingesting poison in front of the Japanese embassy. Inspired by this incident, Kim Ok-soon publicly disclosed on August 14, 1991, that she had been a victim of sexual slavery by the Japanese military, thereby bringing global attention of the issue of comfort women.
육지의 침략 전쟁에 의해 지금 이 시간까지도 그 광기의 역사가 한국 원폭 이세 환우들의 몸과 마음을 관통하고 있는 현실에 인식해야 한다고 생각합니다.
On March 22, 2002, Kim Hyung-yul, a second-generation A-bomb survivor, held a press conference that brought the issues faced by second-generation A-bomb survivors to public attention. On April 27, 2015, Solidarity for Peace and Reunification of Korea, SPARC, and People's Solidarity for Participatory Democracy, PSPD, visited the U.S. Department of State and demanded accountability for the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. However, the U.S. refused to acknowledge the demand. On May 1, 2015, victims Shim Jin-tae and Kim Bong-dae, the father of Kim Hyung-yul, raised the issue of Korean A-bomb victims at the United Nations for the first time and called for the accountability from the U.S. for the original sin of conducting the bombings. On the day President Obama visited Japan in May 2016, Korean A-bomb victims and their second-generation descendants also visited Hiroshima to demand acknowledgement of Korean A-bomb victims, as well as apologies and reparations from the U.S. During his visit to Japan on May 26, 2016, for the first time in history, President Obama acknowledged the existence of Korean victims by the U.S. atomic bombings, citing thousands of Koreans among the victims. On May 29, 2016, the National Assembly enacted a special law to support A-bomb victims, 71 years after the A-bombings. However, the law did not address support for second generation and other descendants. On June 28, 2019, upon the U.S. President Trump's visit to South Korea, about 250 victims held a press conference and marched around the U.S. Embassy. They called for accountability from the U.S. for orchestrating the bombings and demanded an apology and reparations. On September 6, 2019, the Korean A-bomb victims decided to pursue a people's tribunal and entrusted SPARC with managing the related procedures. On June 7th, 2023, the first international forum was held to prepare for the People's Tribunal, which established that the U.S. atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were illegal under the international laws as of 1945. On June 8, 2024, the second international forum to prepare for the People's Tribunal was held in Hiroshima. The forum confirmed that the U.S. atomic bombings in 1945 were unlawful under current international law and highlighted the illegality of nuclear threats or deterrence policies. On the occasion of the second forum, the International Organizing Committee was established. The co-chairs are Bishop Kang Woo-il, former bishop of the Jeju Diocese, Takashi Hiraoka, former mayor of Hiroshima, and Archbishop John C. Wester of Santa Fe. Various activists from international partner organizations are also participating. The International People's Tribunal seeks to advance justice for Korean atomic bomb victims through an official apology and reparations from the United States. It also aims to promote denuclearization on the Korean Peninsula, where the risk of nuclear conflict has intensified, and to strengthen international legal norms prohibiting the use and threat of nuclear weapons, thereby contributing to the realization of a world free of nuclear weapons. 80 years have passed since the atomic bomb was dropped. We will move forward one step at a time, bearing in mind the deep sorrow of the Korean A-bomb victims and praying for a Korean peninsula free of nuclear confrontation and a world free of nuclear weapons. Let's work together to achieve a nuclear-free world.